Entering the boardroom means stepping into a zone of high-stakes liability. A seat at this table carries immense legal weight, far exceeding the title's prestige. Corporate governance operates as a strict, inescapable legal architecture. This diagram illustrates absolute liability. Corporate obligations function as external mandates, imposed directly from the legislative level onto the individual director. These mandates override internal company politics, dictating terms regardless of private agreements made within the firm. The legal philosophy here is designed to protect shareholders and the broader market. It ensures that individual executive negligence does not destabilize the economic entity. Accepting a directorship places you within an uncompromising legal jurisdiction. In this environment, ignorance of the law provides no protection against personal liability. This jurisdiction covers two distinct roles: the executive director, who manages daily operations, and the non-executive director, who provides independent oversight. Outsiders often assume their removal from daily operations carries a lower level of legal risk. The law applies a standard of strict equivalency. When evaluating ultimate accountability, the judicial system views both executive and non-executive roles as perfectly balanced, deriving their risk from identical foundational laws. An independent outsider is required to exercise the exact same level of fiduciary responsibility and care as the CEO. If the company suffers a legal failure, the judicial consequences remain the same for everyone. All directors face maximum liability. This parity exists to force independent directors to act as aggressive, vigilant watchdogs. The law requires active scrutiny, not passive observation. The title of non-executive offers absolutely no legal shielding whatsoever. Joining a board exposes your personal assets and reputation to the highest level of risk. Managing this risk requires a mastery of two distinct foundational pillars. Pillar 1 is the mandate of capability, representing the mechanical engine of boardroom execution. The first requirement is active oversight of the business. Passivity is a breach. Furthermore, a director must perform to the absolute peak of their professional baseline. This standard is measured against a director's specific expertise. A veteran CPA is held to a higher standard of financial scrutiny than a director with a background in marketing. The third requirement is prudence. While the law allows for risk-taking, it demands that those risks be calculated, heavily researched, and deliberate. These three requirements together form what the law calls the duty of care, skill, and diligence. Failure here often takes the form of gross negligence, such as approving a massive acquisition without reading the valuation reports or questioning the technical data. In the eyes of the law, good intentions do not compensate for incompetence. Pillar 1 demands continuous and active oversight. However, high competence is dangerous if it is driven by hidden or selfish motives. This brings us to Pillar 2, the mandate of character, governing the internal, ethical intent behind every boardroom vote. It requires absolute honesty in all dealings and acting in good faith, a genuine belief that actions benefit the corporation. These requirements are rooted in the fiduciary duty. This is a legal concept of ultimate trust, binding a person to act solely for the benefit of another entity. The fiduciary test requires that decisions be made solely for the company's benefit. This necessitates the total extraction of personal gain from the decision-making process. Self-dealing is considered a catastrophic breach. Even a minor, undisclosed personal benefit can instantly dissolve this legal protection. For example, voting to approve a vendor contract because the director secretly holds shares in that vendor is a direct violation of this pillar. Pillar 2 requires a director to subordinate their personal financial interests to the health and prosperity of the corporate entity. These two pillars provide the framework the justice system uses to evaluate a director's performance during a crisis. Regulators and courts evaluate these two elements as a combined requirement. High capability paired with bad intent creates the conditions for sophisticated corporate fraud. Conversely, perfect honesty paired with zero capability leads to innocent but legally negligent bankruptcy. The law is only satisfied by the continuous synthesis of both, careful execution guided by pure intent. This synthesis produces the ultimate benchmark by which all boardroom actions are judged. The law treats the best interest of the company as a precise, measurable legal output derived from this specific equation. Maintaining this synthesis is the only way to satisfy regulatory scrutiny and avoid professional ruin. This legal equation must be applied to real-world corporate structures. The axiom of liability and the two pillars form a bedrock that applies universally to every corporation, regardless of size or sector. As this graphic demonstrates, while the foundation is universal, the board structures built on top of it can become highly complex. This framework is mapped onto specific roles, including the chairperson, lead independent directors, and specialized committee heads. Specialized committees for audit, risk, and compensation apply these same principles of capability and character to their specific domains. No matter how complex a board structure becomes, no committee charter or set of internal bylaws can override these foundational legal principles. Internalizing this legal architecture is essential. It is the only floor standing between a director and maximum personal liability. Corporate governance is a highly rigorous architectural discipline. Master the foundational law, or the entire structure risks a catastrophic collapse.